What's up, guys and gals? Iceman here. Welcome to Horrors of the North. This is my new YouTube channel, so make sure you like this video and subscribe to the page. These are the best horror stories on YouTube, so let's get into it. Wesker had always preferred the silence of his own company. At 39, tall and blonde with a jawline sharpened by years of military discipline, he cut an imposing figure against the vast wilderness surrounding Yellowstone. His job at the Intelligence Operation Post, a nondescript government outpost tucked into the Montana backcountry, suited him perfectly, monitoring signals, decoding chatter from afar. It was solitary work, far from the chaos of human entanglements. He'd never married, never wanted the mess of commitment. A few women in nearby towns provided occasional companionship. Brief, no strings. Encounters that ended before dawn. Introversion was his armor, and the forest his sanctuary. On the crisp autumn afternoon, Wesker needed to blow off steam. The post had been a pressure cooker lately, with encrypted feeds buzzing around some vague border threat. He clocked out early, grabbed his pack, and headed for the wooded trails, snaking along the Yellowstone River's edge. The air was thick with scent of pine and damp earth, leaves crunching under his boots. He lit a cigarette, the smoke curling lazily into the fading light. It was his ritual. Walk, smoke, think. No one around for miles. Perfect. The trail narrowed as it hugged the riverbank, the water rushing below in a frothy torrent. Wesker inhaled deeply, the nicotine easing the knot in his chest. He paused near a cluster of boulders, the river glinting like shattered glass in the low sun. Nature called. He flicked the cigarette butt into the underbrush and turned his back to the forest, unzipping his fly. The sound of his stream hitting the leaves blended with the river's roar. He stared at the water, mind drifting to nothing in particular. That's when it happened. A low rumble, like thunder from the ground, vibrated through the trees. Wesker froze mid-relief, but before he could turn, a massive force slammed into his back. Pain exploded across his shoulders as claws raked through his jacket, tearing fabric and flesh. He was airborne for a split second, then crushing forward, straight into the river. The cold hit like a hammer, shocking the air from his lungs. Water surged over him, and he thrashed wildly, trying to surface. But the weight on his back was immense, pinning him down. A grizzly. It had to be. Yellowstone was their domain, and he turned his back like a fool. The bear's hot breath blasted against his neck, a guttural snarl vibrating through his bones. Wesker's military training kicked in, survival mode. He twisted, elbowing backward, but the bear was a wall of fur and muscle, easily 800 pounds of primal fury. They tumbled deeper into the current, the riverbed slippery with rocks. Wesker's head broke the surface, gasping, only to be shoved under again. The bear's paws clamped around him, one massive forelimb wrapping his torso like a vice. He felt ribs crack under the pressure, a sharp agony that made him scream bubbles into the water. Panic surged, fight or die. His hand fumbled at his belt, fingers closing around the hilt of his military knife, the one he'd carried since his Special Forces days, a K-bar with a serrated edge honed to lethality. With a desperate yank, he freed it. The bear reared up, jaws snapping inches from his ear, teeth glinting yellow in the chaos. Wesker stabbed blindly upward, the blade sinking into the beast's shoulder. A roar erupted, shaking the water around them. Blood bloomed in the river, dark and vicious, mixing with his own from the gashes on his back. He stabbed again, aiming for the neck. Thunk, feeling the resistance of gristle and hide. The bear bellowed, pain feeling its rage. It swiped at him, claws gouging his arm, nearly ripping the knife free. They grappled in the shallows now, the current pulling at them both. Wesker's boots slipped on mossy stones, but he held on, plunging the knife a third time into the bear's chest. Hot blood sprayed across his face, blinding him momentarily. The animal staggered, but its eyes, those black soulless pits, burned with unyielding fury. This wasn't a retreat, it was a counterattack. In a blur, the bear lunged, its weight driving Wesker backward into deeper water. His head smacked against a submerged rock, stars exploding in his vision. The beast's paws pressed down, one on his chest, the other forcing his head under. Water flooded his mouth, his nose cold, relentless. He thrashed, knife still in hand, slashing at the arm holding him. The blade bit deep, severing tendons, but the bear didn't relent. It leaned in, using its bulk to pin him against the riverbed, rocks grinding into his skull. Air. He needed air, lungs burning. Wesker's vision tunneled, the world above the surface a wavering mirage. He gurgled, bubbles escaping in frantic bursts, his body convulsing. Memories flashed, lonely nights in the post, the women he'd left behind without a word, the endless trails he'd walked alone. Was this it? Drowned by a beast in the wild he thought he owned? His stabs weakened, the knife slipping from numb fingers. The bear's grip tightened. A final, merciless push. Wesker's last gurgles echoed in his ears, muffled by the rush of water. A choked, desperate plea swallowed by the river. Then darkness. His body went limp, the fight ebbing away like the current. The bear released him with a huff, bloodied but victorious. It lumbered back to the bank, shaking water from its fur, leaving deep prints in the mud. Wesker's corpse bobbed to the surface, face down, blonde hair matted with silt and gore. The river claimed him gently now, carrying him downstream, but the trails he'd loved, toward the vast, indifferent wilderness. No one would find him for days. The forest kept its secrets, and Wesker became one more ghost in the woods.